Alright, so I figured I'd give you a little update on the kitten. The cat actually got stepped on, I don't know, a couple days before farm day. So it's been a couple of weeks. The kitten, when we got him, was never 100%. They were both kind of sickly. They were both just kind of, they didn't look very good. I mean, they didn't look terrible, but they certainly didn't look bright and perky like I would normally prefer to see. So when we first got them, these were adopted kittens, not born kittens. All of our cats are spayed and neutered, so they can't have kittens. So if we lose cats, we have to go get more, which is fine by me. So these kittens were adopted from someone who rescued them from another lady's house. I was told they were about 8 weeks old, but when I got them, they really did not look to be 8 weeks old. They looked more like, I don't know, 4 weeks old. I mean, they were tiny. However, the littlest kitten still did not thrive like his older brother. If they were truly from the same litter, I have no idea. So when that cat went in the pasture and got stepped on by the horse, I was convinced it was going to be the end of the world for him because he wasn't very good to begin with. Anyhow, I put the cat in the cage like I showed you in the video. The next morning, the cat was gone. No joke. Gone. It had somehow managed to squeeze out of that cage and get out. And then it was running happily around the barn. Like, no big deal with casts and everything. So I was like, well, if the cat is happy running around with a cast, fine. I'll leave him out because I don't want him squeezing through those bars. It's not good for him. So that was all fine and dandy until the neighbor girl came over to play with my son. And the next day I find the cast on the ground. Now the cast had been on the cat for about a week to a week and a half before she came over, and the next day I found it on the ground. I don't think it's very likely the cat pulled it off himself because he wasn't fighting with it. Now, his brother could have pulled it off possibly while they were fighting, but I think it's a very good possibility that the neighbor girl pulled it off because she didn't want it on the kitty. She's 6, and while they do live in the country, they don't live on a farm, so a lot of farm ideas are completely foreign to her. So that's what I really think happened. After that, I'm just like, it's not even worth trying to recreate another cast. The cat is walking around fine on it. It's not limping, it's not meowing, so, you know, it is what it is. So that was fine. But the cat never really seemed to blossom, I guess is the right way to put it. He still seemed very sickly, still decrepit, and I thought, I wonder if the horse like stepped on something internally in the cat. So that's why I hadn't posted an update. And I waited so long to post the video because I really wanted to see what was going on with this kitten. I didn't want to post a video and then leave you guys wondering, well, what happened? So here is the kitten. Now he's still running around, still romping, but the problem I ran into was that he started vomiting and he couldn't keep any food down for, I don't know, at least a week. Might be a little bit longer than that. And I thought maybe it was from the horse stepping on him. And then I thought, well, I had run out of kitten food and switched to a different kitten food, so maybe that was the cause. This guy was fine. He didn't have any issues. But this kitten, like, the minute food touched his stomach, it would just come right back up. Like, literally. So, I tried all sorts of things to get him to keep food down. Tried keeping him away from food. He was like starving hungry, like he wanted to eat, but he just couldn't keep it down. I didn't notice any worms in his vomit. I didn't notice any worms in his stool until yesterday. Just a word of warning, if you have a weak stomach, you might want to close your eyes for just a few minutes here. Here's my clip from yesterday. Sorry about the view, guys. Yeah, he's already thinking like he wants to throw up. Oh, babe. It's possible that the horse might have damaged something internally on him when he got stepped on. It's also possible that this is just the way he was born. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this is all the food I gave him earlier and he didn't digest any of it. But I gave this to him a couple hours ago, so it took him that long just to spit it all back up again. All right. Now I know you can be really grossed out by this, but that honestly looks like it might be a worm. Now I've examined many of his vomits and I have found nothing to suggest a worm inside of it. However, this is one of like 3 that I managed to scoop out, and I am 90% certain that that looks like a worm. It does look like a worm. Now, you know, one of the things that I always thought would be awesome to get is a microscope. Not like the cheap chintzy ones that your kids get, but like a full-on legit $1,000 microscope where I can look at blood samples and stool samples and yeah, mostly that. So, yeah, I have too many weird hobbies that get me excited. Anyway, without the aid of a microscope, I am fairly certain that that is in fact a worm from his stomach. So my plan of attack now is going to be giving him nutritional liquids. So I'm going to go back to straining out some rice tuna water for him, putting some more of the aloe vera juice into it, along with the brewer's yeast and the probiotics, and maybe I'll mix in a little bit more of that detox tea. Actually, I think he's going to the bathroom. Let's go check. I have never seen this cat use the toilet ever. And now that he's wandered off over here, this is a favorite cat potty area. Oh, there he is. Okay, close your eyes. You shouldn't watch a cat use the bathroom. I'm not sure what he's doing. I think he's just peeing. Boy, he's lazy. He's not even digging a hole for it. Alright, I'll break you out of that. So a couple of things to look for when you have a cat that's vomiting or has bad diarrhea is you want to check, especially in hot weather, for dehydration. The cat hasn't been dehydrated at all. You basically pull the skin up. So you pull the skin up on the back of their neck or anywhere on their back. You just kind of lightly pinch it. And if it stays up in the pinch, if it stays up where you pinched it and slowly goes back down, dehydration for sure. You can usually look in their gums too. The gums are a little bit paler pink if they're slightly dehydrated. This guy hasn't had any issues with that. I mean, his skin has been looking pretty good, and he just peed, so that's a good sign. So let's see. So we would pick it up right here. See, it does go down pretty good. I mean, it's not snapping down like solidly. And then it's going down. So as reference, oh, of course he's got to use the bathroom now. Yeah, I don't know why they have to use the bathroom in my horse tack room, which is a disaster. Disaster. I haven't cleaned it yet this year because I've been busy with training and everything else. This is my favorite room to sit in and just like, I don't know. When you have horses, horse tack is like a huge thing. I don't know why. The smell of leather and it's just, I don't know. Anyway, so it's really depressing being in here. It's covered in dust, covered in moldy stuff, and anyhow, let's check this kitten. He's done going potty. So let's see what you do. See how fast he snaps down. It's like instant. Boom. 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 So, we have a comparison. You versus your brother. He is slightly dehydrated. See how it goes down slowly? Now, if I really wanted to, I could give him fluids under the skin. I do have the tools to give him intravenous or fluids under his skin. I don't remember why I had it, like the needles and everything. So, the worming is a pretty good, I mean, look how fat this guy is right here. He is a chunky kitten. And we've had, our last set of cats was 5 kittens, and none of them are fat like this. I mean, he is legit fat. Like, I can feel like fatness right here. Now, I suppose he could be a fat kitten, or he could be full of worms, which I think is a better scenario. I did give them both a generalized wormer for roundworms. So this was my wormer. This is the one I had on hand for cats or dogs. I gave that to him. I don't know that it helped. Now, you can't really keep giving wormer to cats because it will poison them. You're only supposed to do it like every couple of weeks. It is pretty heavy duty stuff. Part of my routine with the little kitten has been trying to get his system well, to help flush any sort of toxins out of his system, because I didn't know why he was so skinny. He could have been poisoned, he could have eaten something in the barn, he could have just from the very get-go not been fully formed. I'm looking for him right now. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's looking for me. Baby, you looking for mom? Yeah, I know you're looking for me. Not for you. So one of the first things I did was make some tea using detox tea and olive leaves, and I mixed that up and I added it to some kitten formula and I syringed that into his mouth, and he was still throwing up. So I'm like, oh, that's not really working. So then I gradually switched over to, this is cooked basmati white rice with some tuna fish, a little bit of water, some protein powder, which is whey protein powder, and aloe vera juice. And I did mix a little bit of the tea in with this as well. Now, the aloe vera juice is good for intestinal issues, but it does have worm killing properties. So we're going to see if this kind of helps flush them out. I would expect to see a lot more worms on his stool if it was working, but I haven't actually seen him use the bathroom. So anyway, oh, I also put brewer's yeast and probiotic powder in this as well. I basically go through and I strain the tuna fish and rice out of the mixture because, like I said, he's not keeping solid food down. Now, the rice and the tuna fish are very easy for a cat to digest, a little bit better than cat food. That's why I'm using it. The rice gives a little bit of starch and a few vitamins, and the tuna fish gives some fatty acids, maybe a little bit of protein. So by soaking it in the water and squeezing it out, you can extract a little bit of that out, which is better than just plain water. So I strain it off. I give the solids to this kitty. So he still gets a little benefit of the aloe vera juice. And then this kitty gets all the juices and the waters and liquids out of it. And on top of that, I did add some of the formula, a little sprinkling of garlic, and the brewer's yeast. So, on a positive note, the kitten isn't overly lethargic. I think he's just gotten used to living this way with worms. It's worth noting that I fed him at about 3 o'clock, a little bit of rice and a little bit of tuna fish, the same mixture. He didn't throw it up until like 8 o'clock last night. So that was 4 hours. That's a big improvement. I mean, yeah, he's still throwing up, but it's not like instant like it was before. So hopefully he's slowly on the mend. And I'm thinking it might be the aloe vera juice that's really pushing him through. We'll see. I'd also like to point out one more thing, that had this kitten been healthy from day one of getting it, I probably would have no problem taking it down to the vet, having it looked at, having it dewormed professionally, all of that stuff. Not an issue. But because it had such an issue when we first got it, I don't know what sort of developmental abnormalities could be going on inside of him too. He's just not a healthy kitten. That's why he's so decrepit compared to his brother. Now his brother does seem to have some worms too, but it's obviously not affecting him. He will be treated just like his decrepit little brother. Now if he suddenly decided to go downhill, don't eat my chicken, then yeah, I probably would take him to the vet and have him professionally treated. Just because he's perky, he's friendly, he's shown himself to be a good mouser. He is proving to be a good asset on the farm. This little guy is just hard to tell. Anyway, so that's the reason why, before anyone starts jumping to conclusions that I'm a horrible person because I'm not taking my cat to the vet, just calm down. sometimes you just have to wait and see and kind of, you know, let nature take its course if need be. This is... Yep. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to do... Hey! Don't bite me! I'm gonna have to do some research on the worms and figure out what kind of worms they are. Maybe order some special worming medicine online. Yeah. So that's the update. Sorry, it's not a happy one. But, hi. At least you get a cute kitten out of the deal. Oh my gosh.